Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. Now, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do much film reviews this week. I've just been doing a lot more long distance walking and focusing on my other jobs. And pretty much decided to finally review Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. Now, originally I did want to do Part 2 about 2 or 3 years ago, but sadly another copy that I had the wrong disc, so wasn't able to do it. So finally got it now on Blu-ray, and I know Part 2 did come out in January the 29th, 2013. Now, the premise of Part 2 is meant to show how, after the events with the sort of mutant gang now becoming the Sons of Batman, and we see how Joker is able to manipulate and convince Dr. Wolper into going to a talk show to plead his story, even though it's just kind of clear that Joker's going to use it as a big opportunity to escape, and at the same time is going to bring out the worst in Bruce Wayne. And we also see how that the government are concerned, fearful, and if not, worried about what Batman will do. And we see how Clark Kent is tasked by the government to help deal with Bruce Wayne. And here, I think they do show that Clark does regret some of his actions, but you can tell he wants to believe he's doing the right things. I think what the first half of the story with Joker gets right at is showing you just how Joker is able to bring out the worst in Batman and is able to kind of reunite their old feud. But here we do see how Bruce Wayne does try to keep things calm and knows not to go too far. And we also do see how, the government, after the events with Cottle Maltese, want to kind of deal with Batman after making a fool of them, so they send out Superman. And this is where we do see how Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent come head on. And I think here you can tell Superman does try to be a bit more hesitant and does try to hold back his punches. And when he does say it's idiotic, and how he says, "Do you want me to kill you?" he's not saying it out of anger, but trying to help a friend see reason. And I think what the whole nuclear bomb thing gets right at, when all the power gets down, we see how Jim Gordon, as well as Batman, are able to get the town under control, but a difference. We see how after Batman ties up the protesters, he's able to get them to see reason, and we see how what remains of the mutant gang and them working side by side, showing you that you don't need violent tactics to solve a problem. You just need to try and get people to see reason, even if they don't want to. I think, Jim Gordon's method was more about him trying to help people see reason and point out what's going on. The message with Jim Gordon's is that it's important to help people realise the bigger picture, even though they can't see it just yet. And I think Part 2 is definitely good. I think it's a bit of a slower pace, but I think at the same time it's keeping true to what Frank Miller's story is. Because I think before 300 and all that, Frank Miller was a good writer for his time. I think had good ideas for stories like with Daredevil, along with Batman Year One and The Dark Knight Returns. A part of me is hoping that they won't do an animated adaptation of Batman The Dark Knight Returns or Batman Strikes Again, as well as Superman Year One, because I think those stories aren't really Frank Miller's best work and should just be put on the sidelines, because I think it's best just to leave this one and Batman Year One as animated films and not try to do the other ones, because I think the thing is, it's best to leave Frank Miller's later stuff alone and it's best to put it on the sidelines. Something I think the parody film Meet the Spartans got right, and it was pointing out everything about Frank Miller, what he is now. Back then, was a good writer. But I think to me, Part 2 is definitely a good film. And if you're a fan of Batman The Dark Knight Returns, you'll definitely enjoy Part 2. So I give it a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.